How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Hack Slash My First Maniac. This is a 4-issue miniseries, and it's a prequel to the Hack Slash series. I think the idea was Hack Slash was at Devil's Due, and then they transitioned over to being at Image, and I think, do a prequel kind of help reintroduce these characters to a new and different audience. And it came out really, really well. Like, you think, okay, it's a Hack Slash prequel. Is it going to be about her and her mother being the lunch lady and just, telling that story in full? And it's not. I mean, it would be cool to see that story in full, but we kind of already know it. This actually picks up right where that leaves off. Like, it literally starts with Cassie having just defeated her mother and having to process all this. And this is very much the story of how Cassie Hack went from being just an average teenage girl into the Cassie Hack we see all the way back in Euthanized. What caused her to actually be a slasher hunter? This is the story of her deciding to abandon her old life. She had a supportive foster home and a school life, but she knows these slashers are out there, and she's deciding to take the plunge and look for them, despite the fact that she wonders, what if it's all just myths and legends? What if my mother was a one-off? What if there are no other slashers, and her deciding to run away anyway and live a life on her own just on that gamble because of something she knows in her guts. And then when she gets there, being faced with a new group of friends and actually fitting in better, almost like the universe is giving her one more chance. Hey, are you sure you absolutely want to do this? And then on top of that, we get a really cool slasher killer here as well. There's a legend about Farmer Fig, who was overprotective of his daughters, and because of his daughter, he would kill some teenage boys and eventually face mob justice. But when we see the slasher, it's quite obvious that this isn't Farmer Fig. Something else completely different happened here, and we're going to get that mystery and find out this really cool story. And he's a really cool design killer with this big grimace on his face. Overall, there's a lot to like here. Again, focusing on character, especially that first issue where she has to decide to break out. And we also get large chunks of her diary, so a lot of this is told in her head, which is pretty cool as well. I will say that Vlad is missed, but obviously he can't be part of this story. But to see Cassie on her own, a lot younger and much more vulnerable, yeah, there's a lot of stakes here and does make it really interesting. Overall, I can definitely recommend this, and since it is a prequel, you can really read it anywhere, so whenever you want to dive into this one, it's super fun. And I'm reading this right now because I got my copy of Back to School in the mail, and Back to School is another prequel story, and I'm like, let's just do the prequels now while we're at it, right? So anyway, if you guys want to see a little bit more, I'm going to switch to the close-up camera. We're going to take a look at some of the story and some of the art. I'll be avoiding major spoilers, but if you want a bit of a deeper dive, let's go ahead and switch to the close-up camera. Alright, here we are inside the castle taking a closer look at Hack Slash My First Maniac. Right off the bat, really do love this cover. A nice painterly close-up portrait of Cassie that is really small there on the spine. There's the Image logo, and we can see this is kind of thin because it's only 4 issues. Flip it to the back, we get Cassie going up to the scarecrow in the cornfield, a few quotes, and we get to see that this was originally $9.99 US. Cracking it open, we can see the story is by Tim Seeley with art by Daniel Leister. And I also want to say that the inner covers are actually really similar, if not the exact same image as the omnibus versions. And there's even that black and red blood splatter. I kinda wish they had included this in an omnibus, but as it stands now, you have to hunt it down separate. There is quite a few hack slash stuff that isn't collected yet, and I really wish they would finally give us Omnibus 7 and then we could have an omnibus of everything, but whatever. As far as bonus features, we do have an introduction by Alison Scagoletti, who I don't know too terribly much about. It's kind of a random pull, but maybe they were eyeing her for the hack slash movie that never came out? I don't know. And also in the bonus features, we get some sketch pages and the alternate cover arts. Anyway, after that, I do want to dive in and take a closer look at the story. No major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and make sure you guys have a basic understanding as to what the story's about. I'll be avoiding the end bits, but without further ado, let's dive in. We open up with Cassie's diary. Yeah, that is kind of a funny thing about her, is that she does keep a diary and have all these doodles in it. But that will lead us into a bunch of narration from Cassie, and we really do get inside her head this issue. And where do we start? From her point of view, looking at her dead mother, so right after the lunch lady. We get to see her freak out. Someone from school was about to get killed, and she saved that person, and she's going to wheel her mother back to her grave and spend the night burying her. It's a shocking event, and it's going to really take a toll on Cassie. We see that her foster parents are actually really nice, kind, loving people, and this is actually a good place for her. But it's too bad that she's just not prepared to accept it and keeps having flashbacks to her mom. Later on, she'll do some research and she'll find out that slashers are a thing, that there are multiple reports of people coming back to life, and we even do get... She apparently found a little research about Spawn there. Yeah, this is when we came to Image. I wonder if that's supposed to be the vampire from Fright Night. But anyway, Cassie's starting to suspect what a slasher is. That's what her mom was, and maybe there are more of them out there. Things are also not doing too good for Cassie at school. The other girls don't exactly know what's up, but they start to suspect that she had something to do with the recent deaths at school, and Cassie's getting beat up for it. Eventually, Cassie's had enough. She's going to take a knife and surprise her adoptive father in the middle of the night and say, "Look, I'm running away, but I want you to never look for me. Just let me go and do my own thing." And now Cassie's taken her first steps to being a slasher hunter. She gets a job working at this, local strip mall bar, and she is unable to relate to a lot of the other teens. She feels she's outside of this world, and she's really there on a mission. She found out about one of the slashers, Farmer Fig, who had a beautiful daughter, and of course boys started to go and try to get with her, and he one day snapped and killed a bunch of them, and before he could get taken in by the law, killed himself. However, when we as the audience get a look at the actual killer, I'm starting to think there might be something else up with this guy. He looks like a teenager, and what's up with that creepy face he's got? Outside of her bar, there is an altercation, and some thugs attempt to beat this guy up when Cassie steps in, and now, after they take the guy to the hospital, she starts to have a bit of a friend group. We get this woman who's a bit of a free spirit, and we get this guy that's totally in love with the other girl, but she's not 100% on board with it and keeps him at a bit of a distance. But Cassie realizes that now she kind of has two friends and they hang out, and it's even this girl that gets Cassie to dress up different and be a little cooler. So, she starts to think, hey, I was trying to escape life. I always wanted to, be happy and have friends, but when I tried to not look for that and when I tried to focus on a mission, that's when it happened for me, and maybe I do actually have a life here. But of course, things aren't going to be that easy. The bullies from earlier are going to find at the farm this abandoned arcade machine, and it appears to be an arcade machine about a killer called Grimface, and they find behind the machine point values for themselves. Needless to say, things don't go that great for them. And elsewhere at the party that Cassie's at, the police come to break it up. These two girls go into the woods, and we're gonna find that they're a victim of the Grim-Face Slasher 2. So what's going on with this guy? Why does he not look like Farmer Fig? And what's up with him in that arcade cabinet, and how does he tie into the legend that we know so far? Of course, Cassie's going to follow the clues and she'll get a few surprises along the way. And what exactly terrible fate is going to befall the end of this story? Let's just say the ending does heat up to a pretty good and bloody battle with a few really cool twists and turns. Overall, I really did like this story. I like seeing Cassie trying to find her foothold as the Cassie hack we know from the stories, and we get to see that this is a real transitory piece. Her going from a schoolgirl with trauma and rebuilding herself as what she wants to be, it really is, you know, a crucial part of her origin story, and in and of itself, it's a fun story with a fun killer, and I think it's got some really cool ideas going in here. Overall, I can definitely recommend this one. It is really cool. A good 4-issue read, which is a little longer than Hack Slash's stories usually go, so I found it pretty cool and I can definitely recommend it. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Hack Slash playlist, where you can see me review a lot of the Hack Slash issues. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.